We went on a field trip to a local graveyard and did a scavenger hunt. What? That is so messed up and dark. How old were the kids? Can you imagine your teacher is so excited and they're like, okay, first one to find Phyllis from 1950 gets a free ice cream and an A+. Whoever thought this was a good field trip idea needs to be fired, like right away. They're gonna kidnap the children. But what's up guys, thanks so much for coming back for another fun video. As always, don't forget to subscribe, be a part of the Socially Awkward family, and follow me on Instagram, links are down below. And give this video a like and a share with all of your friends. And comment below how many field trips you went on this year. But yeah, today we are reacting to some of the worst field trips ever. These are pretty bad. I feel bad for these kids, and I think we're ready. So, let's do this. The trip to the morgue, which uncovered a classmate's brain in a jar. One of the classmates? Oh my gosh. A New York high school's forensic science club went on a trip to the mortuary to learn that there's more to solving crimes than making CSI-style witticisms. Pretty sure I said that wrong. But it took a nasty turn when they accidentally solved the mystery of what happened to our classmate's brain. 2 months after the tragic death of a 17-year-old peer, his classmates wandered by a brain jar that had his name on it. Dude, that is so bad. One of those kids might have been his best friend. How could you do that? You need to double check these things. The teachers who kidnapped their students. Okay, I hope this story ends up good. Remember that one teacher who tried to talk like a hip teen? Yep, despite being 35 years old. You know, the one who always sat a little too close to the popular girls when he was defining leptons or dental dams. Okay, y'all gotta let me know whatever the heck that means. I did not pay attention in science. In northern Indiana, a high school chemistry teacher fulfilled that role by inviting students over to his place to drink beer and use his hookah. Basically, a hookah is like this jar thing that you smoke out of and it has drugs in it. Hey, there's a lot of fascinating chemistry involved in getting lung cancer. That was sarcasm, by the way. There's not anything fun about lung cancer. Well, that's gross. So yeah, if your teacher ever invites you over to their place without, your parents, that's not okay. Do not go. You'll get kidnapped. Watching a movie in school always makes for a great day, and going on a trip to the theater is even better. A trip to watch a war movie in which stuff blows up, a character might swear, and no one has to learn anything? That's like winning the educational lottery. Yeah, whenever your teacher would pull out the TV from the back of the class, you knew it would be a good day. So Dallas 5th graders were understandably excited about a chance to watch Red Tails, that World War II movie about African American pilots that you already forgot about. Hey, I remember that movie. It was a very good movie. Unfortunately, the movie, which was to be used to teach students about segregation, wasn't being screened in a theater large enough to accommodate everyone. So officials came up with a simple solution. They'd only send the boys to see the movie about overcoming discrimination. Way to teach the younger generation about discrimination. You really did a good job. That was sarcasm, by the way. That's terrible. Hey, I'm a girl and I love war movies and action and blood and fighting. I love it. I've seen all of the John Wick movies and I can't wait for the next one. But yeah, it's not just a guy thing. If you're a girl and you want to go see a war movie, go see a war movie. It's fun. We got taken on a trip to Home Depot. Well, that's not fun at all. I'm pretty sure your dad told your teacher to take you so he could pick up some supplies for his little home project. One time I went with my dad to Lowe's or Home Depot, whatever it was, and I made him push me around on the cart that's meant to get those big wooden planks. It was fun, and I was really small, so I wasn't that heavy. I remember going to a fish auction. What is that? We didn't get to see an actual auction, just the seats where the bidders would sit and the place where they would store the fish. It was a class of 7-year-olds. Are you serious? They don't get to see the actual auction that might be a little interesting, but they get to look at the chairs and the storage. They're 7. That's like taking them to Dairy Queen, letting them think they're gonna get ice cream, and saying, okay, let's study the cone. We were taken to a rock quarry. They literally sent out 3 classrooms of 11-year-olds with pickaxes and just let us wander around and gather rocks. We got to keep whatever we found. You gave a pickaxe to an 11-year-old who can barely tie his shoes? Y'all are so irresponsible. I wish I would have been in that class. That would have been fun. In primary school, we went to the local cheese shop, ooh, cheese, and sat on the pavement opposite to draw it, then went back. It was terrible. You didn't even get to try the cheese. You drew it on the pavement. What are these people doing to you? That's torture. Yeah, as a little kid, they make you walk a lot of places because they don't want to waste money on the buses. Like, I'm 5, you're making me walk a mile. That's child labor. We went on a field trip to a dairy farm. We got to help milk the cows and help feed the calves. It was heaps of fun hanging out with the cows. The next stop on the trip was an abattoir. I don't know what that is. Where we watched the cows unloaded, killed, and then went to the room where they cut out the bones. They watched the cows get slaughtered? A couple of people cried, some vomited, and more than one passed out. And I guarantee at least half of them became vegetarians. After that, we went to lunch where we were served beef pies. It was not a well-planned day. You gave them hamburgers after they watched cows get murdered? Yeah, that wasn't smart. That makes me want to be a vegetarian. I grew up with cows. Cows are like adorable. They're grass puppies. My 4th grade class took a trip to a plantation house to learn more about Georgia's history. It was really nice and authentic, and they even had people dressed from that time period. They had a lot of activities for us to do, but there was this one activity where they split the class up to do different things. It seemed that the parents had a problem with this activity. Oh no. They made all the ethnic kids go out in the field and pick cotton, while all of the non-ethnic kids got to play dress up in the house. Looking back, I can see where they might have had a problem with this activity. Yeah, that is so bad. That's racism. If I found out that my kid went on this field trip, I'd murder the teachers. I'd say, you go out in that field and pick some cotton. In 2nd grade, our field trip was to the back of the school. We sat on the asphalt, listening to someone explain to us what the different numbers on plastic containers meant. Really? Why can't you do that in the classroom? They made you go out in the hot sun, sit on the hot pavement, and listen to a lecture? And you're 2nd graders, you're like 7 and 8 years old. They have no attention span for that kind of stuff. I don't even know what those numbers mean on plastic containers, but I just don't pay attention in anything. We went to an indoor trampoline park but didn't get to bounce on anything. What? Just got to listen to the owner talk about what it's like to own a business. It was torture for a group of 7th graders. You could have taken them anywhere else, but you took them to a trampoline park to learn about a business. And they're in middle school. They are gonna want to jump. Have you ever played dodgeball in one of those trampoline parks? That is so much fun. In elementary school, my after-school program took us on a field trip to a pet cemetery. Did your teacher recently lose a pet and they just wanted to go visit? That's morbid. What if all the kids saw their animals that their parents said just ran away to a farm, but they really died? And now they're seeing their dog Betsy and they're like, Mom, explain? One father in Washington State was chaperoning his daughter's elementary school trip when one parent recognized him from his recent appearance on Washington's Most Wanted. He's a criminal. The regional equivalent of America's Most Wanted, which is mostly concerned with Pearl Jam related crimes. Okay, it sounds like it's not that bad, like he's not a murderer, but he committed a crime and he was wanted. And then when they got back, they arrested the guy. Or they tried to, and then he ran away, and then he turned himself in. But that's nice, you're on a field trip and then someone says your teacher is on America's Most Wanted for being a serial killer. I'd run away. We took a 45-minute bus ride to a bridge. A freaking bridge. Well, that's great. We split up into 2 groups. One stood at the top while the other group stood underneath. Then we switched and went back to school. What was the purpose of that? Are you learning about gravity or maybe jumping off the bridge? I don't know. In 9th grade, we took a field trip 2 streets over to look at the dead deer my science teacher found on the side of the road that morning. Ew. I'm squeamish and nearly passed out at the sight. The head was completely rotated, blood everywhere, brains on the road, an eye was missing and parts of it had been torn off from other animals eating it. Gross. She loaded it onto her truck that evening and took it home. Her daughter said it's in the freezer for future lessons, but I really hope she was just kidding. I don't think she is. I mean, in like 7th or 8th grade, I remember in science class when we did dissections, which was a lot of fun, we looked at deer hearts. So maybe I understand, unless she's weird and she's like a serial killer and she just kills animals. When I was in 2nd grade, our teacher took us on a field trip to her apartment and fed us questionable apples. She also showed us her sweater collection in her closet. Yeah, that wasn't a field trip. I'm pretty sure she tried to kidnap you and poison you with apples. Your parents did not sign off on that field trip. My class had to go to a funeral parlor. We wrote our own obituaries, picked out coffins, and practiced mourning. Okay, I understand teaching like funeral etiquette, like how to properly act at a funeral in a non-disrespectful way, but picking out coffins? That's so bad. I don't want to see my death. This teacher really doesn't like students. Lived in Vietnam as a child and was taken to the fish sauce factory in 1st grade. Ew, fish sauce? There were big clay vats filled with raw, decaying fish for miles. The pots just lay there, uncovered, baking in the Vietnamese heat and sun. There really is nothing out there qualified enough to get the smell of rotten, fermenting fish out of your clothes. Yeah, I bet there's not. That is so disgusting. I would not go on that trip. I would get an F for the day. We went on a field trip to the side of the highway. Did they make you clean up trash too? That's so dangerous. The highway? You could get hit by a car. These teachers are just trying to get these kids into bad situations. The Cub Scouts who took a nature walk through a nudist beach. Well, depending on how old they were, I'm sure they didn't mind. They learned some new things about themselves that day. I live in Alabama. When I was in elementary school, we went to a farm and literally picked cotton. What is wrong with these people? You don't do that to kids. And I'm pretty sure cotton plants, they have like thorns in them. So if you don't have gloves, you're gonna get cut and it hurts. My kid ain't going on these field trips. And that is it for the worst school field trips ever. These are some terrible teachers. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to comment down below which field trip sounded the worst. And don't forget to subscribe, be a part of the Socially Awkward family, and follow me on Instagram. Links are down below. And give this video a like and a share with all of your friends, please. And yeah, that's it. So I will see you beautiful people next time.